Not the expected one, but the right one came. This story took place not in a fairy tale world, but in a very real place, an old public high school on the edge of a quiet American town. A place where dreams often faded, not flourished. There was one class, 9B, known among the teachers as the Lost Ones. They were the class no one wanted to teach. Whenever the door to their room opened, it wasn't curiosity that filled the hallway, but tension. Teachers braced themselves for disrespect, disruption, or just pure silence. Each year, a new teacher would be assigned to them. And without fail, each year, that teacher would leave, drained, defeated, and disillusioned. "They're unteachable," people said. "Don't waste your time." The students were a mix of pain and rebellion. Some came from broken homes, others had been told their whole lives they'd never be anything. Some were angry, some silent, some didn't even bother to pretend to care. Then one September morning, a new name was added to the staff list, Mr. Daniel Carter, a fresh graduate, only 24 years old, eyes full of hope and a heart that still believed in people. He walked into the school with a quiet confidence. As he passed by, other teachers gave him sympathetic looks. "Poor guy," someone whispered. "He'll last a month." But Daniel wasn't like the others. He wasn't just here to teach a subject. He was here to reach hearts. On the first day, he didn't write anything on the board. He didn't even introduce himself formally. Instead, he stepped into the middle of the classroom, looked around, and said calmly, "I'm not here to fix you. I just want to understand you." A pause. It wasn't what they expected. Usually, a new teacher started with rules, threats, or disappointment. Daniel started with empathy. As days passed, he didn't force them to follow a rigid curriculum. He made room for conversation. He asked them what they thought. He listened, not to correct, but to connect. James, often late and called lazy, was asked why he never arrived on time. He hesitated, then said, "I get my little brother ready for school. Mom works 2 jobs." Samantha, always quiet and withdrawn, never answered questions. Daniel didn't push her. Instead, he left a poetry book on her desk. A week later, she handed him a handwritten poem titled "I Exist." Tyler, the so-called class troublemaker, threw a chair once during a test. But Daniel didn't punish him. He sat beside him afterward and said, "You've got leadership energy. But you're leading them into chaos. What if you use that energy to build instead of break?" For the first time, Tyler didn't respond with sarcasm. He just stared, curious, maybe even hopeful. Day by day, things started to shift. Daniel brought a large poster that said, "What do you dream about?" He asked each student to write one thing. No matter how big or small. He hung the dreams on the wall. Each day, they talked about one. A kid who never spoke suddenly shared his desire to be a firefighter. Another admitted she wanted to write a novel. Daniel taught them grammar, yes, but also forgiveness. He assigned essays, but also moments of silence. He didn't test them for memorization, he challenged them to reflect. Within months, the school began to notice. The 9B class wasn't the same. They became the most creative, most engaged, most united class in the building. Other teachers were stunned. "How?" they asked. Daniel smiled and said, "They didn't need someone perfect. They just needed someone who truly cared." At the end of the school year, the principal stood at the award ceremony. Holding back tears, she said, "For years, we gave up on this class. We expected the worst. And then someone unexpected came, not the one everyone hoped for, but the one they truly needed." In life, it's not always the strongest, smartest, or most famous person that brings change. Sometimes, the miracle doesn't arrive in the person everyone expects. It arrives in the one who listens. The one who cares. The one who sees what others ignore. You may not be the expected one. But you might be the right one for someone else's story.